Welcome to the Chain Film Festival. I'm here with Charles Davis, the writer, director of Circle, and also Leslie Dame and Luke Mindell from the film. Very excited to have you back, Charles.
Great to be back. This is I don't know actually, sixth year?
I was trying to figure that out
I
myself. I
can't
was like, is
remember
it
anymore.
7 years? Is it 6 years? Because it's been every year, I think, since you
No, I
first.
missed the first. I think the first one was well, actually, the first one was the third year. So there we go. This must have been the fifth year then.
Okay.
Okay.
5 years. It feels
5
like
years.
we've been together a long time, my friend.
Feels like a marriage.
Well, I'm always so excited to see Charles's films, and he always is willing to expand himself and try something new at any drop of the hat. He's an experimental filmmaker, a unique filmmaker, and I just love the way you put yourself out there and the way your mind works, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Can
And
you
thank you for
talk a
having
little?
this movie in the festival as well.
Oh, of course. And can you talk a little bit about the inspiration behind this and the mythology? There's a deep mythology in this film.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things. I mean, just from kind of like a personal level, there was just, as with most of my films, they're all reflections of just stuff that's going on in my life at the moment. I think this one was reflective of the fact that during the time when we had made not this film, but the previous film, Athos, both my mother and my wife sort of had really bad health problems simultaneously. And luckily they both recovered, but it was a very scary moment for about everybody. And I think, reflections on, I have a kid, and it was a small kid, and just, I think it was a lot of reflecting on that and, parental figures being sick and stuff like that, and parenthood and the feelings that come out of that. I think that's where a lot of that initially came from. Outside of that personal stuff, a lot of it was I wanted to do something a bit more drama-ish compared to my other movies. So definitely, still staying in the psycho weirdo stuff I do, but just something a little more, family drama-ish, because I hadn't really done that yet. And I wanted to kind of play around with that space a little bit more. And then the third thing was just I wanted to film an entire movie in Central Park. I'd wanted to do that for a while. And so that was also part of it. Yeah.
And Leslie, what was like filming a feature film in Central Park?
It was so much fun. The first night, we went into the rambles,
Yeah.
with all this equipment and just the two of us, and it was dark, and you made me crouch down by that rock that reeked of pee.
Yep.
And it was like, this is going to be great. I could tell.
Yep. The biggest, so we faced one detriment that kept haunting us through the making of the film, and one miracle. So the one miracle was that it kept saying it was going to rain on the day we were filming, and then it didn't rain. So every day we were like, are we going to have to cancel? Are we not? And then we ended up being okay every single day. So that was the miracle. The detriment we kept following us was dog poop and pee, because we had this incident where Leslie had to kneel down in front of a rock where a dog had peed very heavily.
Human pee. I don't mean to.
Oh, there you go. Excuse me.
There's a difference in the bouquet.
I didn't realize I was talking to an expert.
That happens when you film a movie in Central Park.
About the rain thing is because of continuity. I had an umbrella the first day, so I had to carry this bloody umbrella with me the whole rest of the time.
So that's why in the entire movie she's always carrying an umbrella that she never opens, because because we had Leslie for a week and we're like, we got to film everything. So I was like, so you're just gonna have your character's gonna have an umbrella on you in case it rains. We can just make an excuse out of it. And I had like equipment to put the plastic over the cameras and stuff. And then the other instance where we had the dog poop issue was there was a scene where one of the actresses had to lay on the ground, which just got killed, the Stacy character, and there had just been this dog that had taken like a mega crap somewhere, and it was just like toxic waste, and it like stuck in our noses for like the next 2 days, and so those were the miracles and the detriments that we experienced. All the stuff people thought we would have problems with, like the cops stopping us, people getting in the way, that actually was pretty much fine, with a couple funny exceptions with guys randomly wandering into the camera, which I have some funny outtakes of. But other than that, those were really the biggest detriments.
Yeah, I was wondering about police interference if you're guerrilla shooting.
We were literally filming, and cop car drove right past us and gave us a wave. And we had the time when the cops on horses trotted right past us and just kind of smiled and waved at us and left us completely alone. We really had no problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's really about the day. I feel
Yeah.
like with those kinds of situations, if they're in a good mood, and
Yeah. I
there's
think
there's bigger fish to fry.
exactly. I think a lot of it too is when you're filming on location. My experience just having filmed on location a lot in New York City now, it's just as long as you're not like blocking people, they pretty much leave you alone. As long as you're just kind of out of the way and you don't have like, some big mass of people, or you're not making a lot of noise or things like that. I filmed like fight scenes on like the High Line in a movie I made, and by some miracle never got stopped. Luke was there actually for some of those. I think you're as a cameraman when we did Portal Man on those days. But yeah, so it's kind of just like as long as you're out of the way and just not bothering anyone, they mostly will just leave. People don't really seem to care that much. So
Yeah,
I think that pretty well.
And so Leslie, besides the poop and the pee, which is the best question segue that I've ever had.
This is a great
in the entire
talkback.
film festival.
Yep.
Did you find that maybe it was hard to get into character or to focus at all with so much going on around you?
No, not at all. It would it just becomes background and doesn't, you get used to it, and it was just kind of nice too, and it wasn't that crowded too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it, April or something?
I think it was April, so it was a little colder, and I think also just because of the rain, people there weren't that many people there. And then one thing with Central Park, everyone's still terrified of it a little bit from back in the bad old days. So when we're filming in the middle of the night, there was literally like there was just nobody there. So
it was super cool to be there, and we were at Bethesda, the fountain, and in that iconic mosaic. What's that? It was just really, and filming something kind of eerie, and I had to run up and down those stairs a million times, and it was really fun and magical to be at night in some of these places.
Yeah.
I mean, you're anchoring this film. You're very much clearly the protagonist, and I would just imagine, just being an actor myself, like it might be difficult to track where the character's at in any given moment, particularly because you keep coming back to Central Park. But it's very clear in your performance, and you're able to anchor that. Was that something that you worked with in rehearsal, or is that something that just came naturally on the day? Did you do in sequence?
I'm just really good at just jumping right in and doing it. This is my second, well, now I've done a few films since, but I'm a stage actor, and this is so different, but I love it. I love the stop and start and the having to jump and be right back in character. I find that to be a really nice change and a nice challenge. And as opposed to, having to do a show for 2 hours or, whatever, it's just a really fun change. I'm enjoying it a lot. So
That's
it's a
great.
different challenge. In fact, yeah, I like being told what to do and do it well and get another chance to do it again.
Yeah.
Until it's right. I just love, but really being in the moment at the same time. I love it.
It's great to have that intense focus, and then you can let it go.
Yeah.
But it's because the movie takes place in that same place for so long. I really thought it was so important what you managed to do and keep us on that track. And I think that's a testament to you and Charles working together and making that all work. And particularly with this kind of dreamlike world that we're going in and out of, that you have to anchor that to something, to you. And it just comes across so well.
Thank you.
So Luke, what was your experience in Central Park? I don't want to ask another question about poop and pee, but I guess apparently I've just segued into another one.
I think it's kind of rich and unfair that Charles, after not providing porta potties or trailers, is going to make such a big deal about me pooping and peeing in Central Park. I think it's a little bit disrespectful of acting and our needs. When Charles talked about challenges of shooting in Central Park, what immediately popped into my head, and I was shocked he didn't say, was airplanes. Just the constant din of airplanes and the knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh, helicopters and sirens, and just that awareness that in any take, you start talking, and halfway through a line delivery, the airplane sound is crescendoing, and you know that it's going to cut to another shot where there is no airplane sound, or it's a different airplane, or it's a helicopter. And Charles, I don't know if you're ADRing the entire movie, but I have no idea how you would cut the audio around the constant shifting sounds literally coming from the sky above us.
Yeah, that was a big challenge. That's a good point. I kind of forgot about that, honestly, because it's been a couple of years. Bizarrely, it's probably been it's been over a year since we finished the film, and probably been over a year and a half to 2 years since we made it. But as if cars honking in the background. That was, I don't know what the hell was going on, but the entire time we were filming, there was just constant helicopters circling Central Park. We have no idea what was going on. Like, even I've been in Central Park a lot. Even for Central Park, it was like particularly noisy. So I mean, how I dealt with it was just, there was a bunch of ADR, as you guys know, because I had to record some, and then there was certain things where I was just able to filter it. It's all like technical audio, techno babble, but just like filters and stuff, and band-aids and tricks like that you can do. So there wasn't really anything too special, just the usual stuff you do to work around it. Yeah.
Yes. Speaking to the technicality of the film, because now I'm seeing the body of your work, and what you're capable of doing now, you weren't able to do a few years ago. Even it's just the availability of special effects and the new programs. And I was really curious if now you can just let your mind run wild, and then you're creating these new concepts and ideas of how to execute these ideas, or if this is a situation where like you've been working on special effects and you're like, oh wait, I'm going to do something with that later.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably more towards the later, where it's more just I've gotten more comfortable in After Effects. I still have a long way to learn and a long way to go. I wouldn't say it necessarily, since I've started making films, of course the technology has advanced a bit, but I think it's more just my know-how on how to use it. Like probably the special effect I'm most proud of in it was the on Bruzy Susie, when her mouth starts going crazy, because I figured out how to do puppet strings, and that's not like a new thing in special effects. That's just something I learned how to do, and I wasn't really aware of like 2 movies ago. So what I generally do is I'll just write the movie that I want to write, and I have a general idea about like capabilities, but I don't really pay huge amounts of attention to it, and then from there I'll just be like, okay, what's actually feasible here that I think I could do, and how would I plot that out? If I can't do it, I'll have to change something. And there was a bit of that in this too, but I mean, I don't in terms of like the special effects in this one, there's definitely special effects. It wasn't really anything hugely new other than using the puppet stuff for the Bruzy Susie effects. That was new to me. The rest of it was mostly just I gotten better at like rotoscoping and green screening and stuff like that. That was really all it was, and just my own personal know-how.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Can you point out any memorable moments? What maybe your favorite part of filming this is, or just with how it came out?
My favorite part of filming, that's a good question. The entire sequence at the end with in Bethesda Fountain with you two guys and Jen Eifert, who played Bruzy Susie, was a special night. I was really happy how that came out and how that ended up looking. And it was cool. It was fun to film that night. It was probably the top one. Filming in the middle of the woods was really cool too, when we did the whole sequence.
That night, that was the end of a 13-hour day?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we would film, we'd film like for 4 hours, and we would like film for 4 hours, and we had to just sit around and wait for it to get dark. So we'd have to we'd literally just be set up shop inside this diner and just eat like sandwiches and coffee for like 6 hours straight, and then go film when night fell.
Like Seinfeld.
Yeah, exactly. So that was a nice day. That was a good day. And then to film the stuff where the character talks to the tree, when Leslie's character talks to the tree and she goes into the woods, and it sort of gets really like suddenly the woods were really, really big in this middle of Central Park. We actually filmed that up in the Adirondacks where Leslie lives, near in this forest she knew about. And that was a really cool day to film. I really liked filming that day, just being in the middle of the woods with, you know, Leslie and her son, who was helping me doing stuff behind the camera. That was a really fun day. Yeah, I mean, I'd say just in terms of filming, that stuff was good. The sequences I liked the most in the movie are probably all the Bruisey Susie stuff, just because I think it worked really well. I really liked the crucifixion scene. It came out as I was hoping, and then probably the stuff with at the end with the Bethesda Fountain, with all you guys in Bethesda Fountain. Those are probably my favorite parts.
And Luke, was that one of your favorite days as well? That super long day that still turned out so well.
That was, aside from I went out to Jersey, to Charles's place, to do some green screen stuff. Other than that, we shot all of my scenes on that one day. So I got there in the morning or early afternoon, and then we went until, I don't know, 1 a.m, something like that. Maybe I'm.
We had a second. No, we had a second day with you. We had a second day with you by the reservoir.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never mind.
It's been a year and a half, guys. All right. There's a pandemic. I don't know if you heard. But no, the stuff by the fountain, and specifically, there's the little, I don't know what you call it, the alcove that leads to the fountain.
Yeah.
That just has this golden light, and the light comes from everywhere. It's like, you know, the opening scene of Eyes Wide Shut, when the Kubrick film, where they go to the Christmas party, and there's just like 150,000 Christmas lights everywhere. So there's just this golden light coming from everywhere. There's no source, there's no shadow. Everyone just kind of looks like they're glowing and golden. And that little alcove in Central Park at night has lights kind of all around, and it gives that effect, and it's golden, and it's almost like a sepia tone without having to do sepia. It's just such a cool place to be, and it really makes you feel kind of otherworldly, and it very much helped to I don't know, feel like I was in a story, because it's a magical place.
Yeah. I'd like to point out Luke just compared me to Kubrick, so you know.
Yeah. Which I do often.
Yeah, constantly.
And just to wrap things up, also Leslie, and because I just heard some wonderful stories, I was curious if there was anything that stood out for you during the course of the shoot.
That particular day, I just enjoyed the whole process. It was hard work, and I really admire Charles' work ethic. We just get to work and we do it, and I love that. And then and he spaced out each day, so we had days off, and I was down in the city for 13 or 15 days or whatever, hanging out and doing stuff, and you know, having to or getting to work on this amazing project. So for me, the whole thing was just a great experience.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
wasn't
awesome.
getting to work on it. I had to work on it.
Yeah, I
I was
forced him.
forced.
Yep.
I want to thank you all for joining us at the Chain Film Festival. And Charles, I'm looking forward to see what comes next. It's always such an adventure.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I have a film project which I was trying to get running, but then this whole pandemic thing happened, which kind of put a wrench in the gears. So I don't know.
What?
I don't know if I'm going to have anything next year, unfortunately. So it might be the one year I missed the Chain Film Festival, but hopefully the year after that we'll have something.
It's okay. You should come on down and we'll figure something out.
Figure something out.
And hopefully the next year we'll be in person again, or
Exactly.
some kind of a hybrid.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you all so much for joining us. And if you want to find out more information about Charles's film company, what's the information on that?
You can just go to chunklephrieky.com. Chunklephrieky with a K. And it's on, we're on like Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff too.
Go on and check it out. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.